Hello everyone, my name's Arran Smith. I'm going to be delivering your webinar this evening. I hope everyone's well. I'm wearing two hats this evening. So I am the proprietor and the director of the SEND group, but I also have a role as the Microsoft's UK Dyslexia and SEND consultant. So my role within Microsoft is to deliver accessibility into the education community, whether that is schools, colleges, universities, primary, secondary, local authorities. That is what my job is on a daily basis. So my role is to do that every day. Now I'm going to make this presentation as accessible as possible. Now what you're going to need now is, if you don't have it already, and I haven't told you this, if you have your mobile phone with you, or you have another device, or you have a web browser, I would recommend you get that ready. I'm just going to stop my presentation and you'll understand why this is in a second. So I'd love you to get your phone or or a web browser and kind of scan that QR code or copy that web link, that ppt.ms link. And what it will do is it's going to give you a feature called live captions onto your device. And what I'm going to do is leave that running, because I'm not going to be in and out of the I'm going to be in and out of the presentation quite a bit. So I'm going to need you to use the captions, and I'm going to talk you through what this feature is later on in the talk. But you can leave it running, and if you want to like send me an emoji, you'll see in the bottom corner there is some emojis. We'll give that a few more seconds just to see this. I would love to see as many people as possible join that. Scan the QR code. Oh look, people are already sending me emojis. I'm loving that. It's really appreciated. I'm going to get to, if we can get up to 45, then I'm going to start the slides, and hopefully you'll see on your device that it is speaking. Now this is a feature which is available in PowerPoint Online. This is free for every school. I'm already getting questions. Can we use this captions with our students? Yes, you can. Does it export? No, it doesn't. So I'm just sending a private message to someone. So that's the thing. Right. Okay, we got over there. So I'm going to start the presentation. So welcome everyone to this Microsoft presentation today, looking at accessibility. And what I just decided to do was I wanted to put the next slide here of just to introduce myself a little bit more, so you know who I am and why I'm doing that. So if you've never seen a picture of me, there's that picture of me. As I said, my name's Arran Smith. I'm the UK's Dyslexia and SEND consultant. There's my Twitter handle, and there's two email addresses, my SEND group email and of course my Microsoft email. Why am I a member of Microsoft? Why am I talking about accessibility today? Well, if you don't already know, some of you may know that I am severely dyslexic myself. I'm 36 years old. I have a reading age of a 9-year-old, a spelling age of an 8-year-old, and I have no automatic reading capabilities. I don't read words unless I actually look at them and tell myself to read. I don't decode words automatically. I have to look at them and then read them. It's like walking down an aisle and walking down at the aisle in the supermarket and not actually looking at anything, but knowing what's there just by pictures. My story is I was diagnosed with being dyslexic at age 9. The feeling of stress and anxiety was definitely there. I never understood why that my sister, who's 3 years younger than me, can read better than I could or can. I never understood why we had to do silent reading in school. I couldn't understand why I was being picked on for not knowing what 1 times 1 was. And I didn't realize that dyslexia was this thing inside me that made me what I am, that I couldn't do certain things. But after time, from support from my parents, from awareness from my school, my local dyslexia association, I came to understand that dyslexia is my superpower. If you've heard one of my webinars before about me and my dyslexia, I often talk about that day that I realized that dyslexia was a superpower. I'm going to tell you the story very quickly. I used to be the act out at home child. I would never be naughty at school. I couldn't cope with that. I probably do have tendencies of ADHD and maybe some autism tendencies as well. I definitely am dyspraxic. But I would be acting out at home, and one of them days at home, I kind of just flipped and I ran upstairs and kicked my bedroom door down. And I did the same at least 3 times over the next few weeks. And the third time, my dad said to me, "Aaron, we need to go and you need to go and pay for a new door." So we went to B&Q to buy a new door. And I said to Dad, "Can I have a wooden door?" And he went, "Why do you want a wooden door?" I went, "Well, it's a bit harder, isn't it? And I want you to cut it in half." And he went, "Why?" I said, "I want to make it a foldy door, like one of them slidey foldy doors. That's what I wanted." If you can think of the picture. And he went with it. My dad's an engineer, so he went with it. So we hung the door together, we put the two halves together, we cut it in half, hung it out, and it folded in the middle. And then it opened. And he said, "Why did you want this?" And I said, "I'd show you." So I kicked it, smacked me in the face. I'll say it again. It kicked it and it smacked me in the face. And I realized then that I'd thought outside the box to find a solution to stop me doing something. Ergo, my superpower of my dyslexia, thinking outside the box and solving a problem. Yes, I was getting pain to solve the problem, but I solved the problem. I went through life starting to understand my dyslexia. I did my GCSEs with support with my reader and my writer. I then got 5 GCSEs, highest with a C in IT. I went to college, did a GMVQ and an AVCE in IT, got a merit and a pass grade in my A level, and that was really good for me. I then walked into a job as a youth worker. I did youth work for 2 years, got made redundant. I got a job as a labourer on a building site, got made redundant. Just think of a labourer, dyspraxic, push a wheelbarrow was an hilarious thing. I then worked for a large retail company that really depressed me, a company that kind of didn't understand that dyslexia affects your day-to-day lives and really didn't support me. And I kind of really didn't, it's taken 3 alarms to get me out of bed. But in my kind of like personal life, my voluntary life, I was a volunteer at my local dyslexia association. I was supporting the British Dyslexia Association, and I was recommended to look at a job on their website. And I became the membership development officer for the British Dyslexia Association. 2016 was a change in my life again. I got made redundant from the BDA and I went independent. I founded the SCND group that's now been going over 5 years. I founded the LVA group, which is my company that consults with Microsoft. Last year, I founded the Dyslexia Show as the UK's first national exhibition. This year, I founded SCND Group International, which is our international arm of the SCND Group that delivers training into India. I've also founded 2 other companies, and I now am an non-executive director of the BDA, and I am a non-executive director of 2 other companies as well in the UK, all working in the field of dyslexia. I'm a highly experienced dyslexic entrepreneur that is consulting in many levels around the areas of dyslexia and assistive technology. But for me, without the technology, I cannot do what I did today. And that's what I wanted to tell you. With the technology I'm going to show you today, I can't do it. Now, the journey I want to talk about today actually started back in 2016. Now, if you've ever seen me do the Microsoft talk before, if I've been to your school and done it, or you've seen it before, this one will be a little bit different. I'm going to reference things that have happened and changes that have happened as we go along. I am going to show a lot of the features. I'm going to do some demos, but I have to talk about the past to get to the future. Back in 2016, I'd been made redundant. I was running the BDA's international conference, and I was still looking for sponsors and supporters. I was at the BET show, and as a person that believes if you don't ask, you don't get, walked onto Microsoft's stand to see if I can talk to their head of marketing. You never know what's going to happen. What happened is their head of universities said to me, "Aaron," he'd met me the year before, "you need to come and see this." And I met an amazing guy called Mike Tholson. And Mike showed me this tool he'd hacked into OneNote called Learning Tools. And 2016 was that journey that I saw that actually, you know what? A large company like Microsoft is changing the world a little bit when it comes to accessibility. Over that time, I saw Mike present at BET. I then also saw Microsoft have an accessibility evangelist for the UK. I also saw that Microsoft had a chief accessibility officer who had a disability, and I could see this change in Microsoft, and I was trying to work out where it came from. And I could see it came from a culture. And of course, that culture comes from Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella. And these are changes that really happened. Over the past 4 years, 5 years, we've seen lots of things. 3.5 years ago, I was asked by Mike Tholson to become a consultant to basically deliver awareness into the dyslexia community. It was a 6-month contract that has been extended for the last few years, and now I am delivering this awareness, for you as part of my role with Microsoft, but also into lots of schools, into lots of awareness. And at the end of the presentation, I'm going to give you some links of how you can get hold of me and come to your school and present this to your teachers. But we have to talk very briefly about technology. The world today has changed because of the pandemic. We are using technology in different ways. We are using more and more technology. But even if we look from 2016 to today, we have seen so many advances in technology. I don't think any of us in 2016 would think we'd have a device in our home that we could talk to that would play music, would allow us to ask it for spellings, and could tell us the weather. Or it could turn our lights on. Actually, did we ever think that we'd have lights that could be turned on by our mobile phones? Did any of us think that we had technology built into our cars that allows us to know where we're going, which are called satellite navigation, that actually were designed as an accessibility tool? When you go to the next cash machine, look for the jack sockets, because assistive technology has got even more advanced. And for me, technology is growing so much. Yes, there is a bit of stagnation within the market when we look at mobile phones and we look at that, but we look at technology in a different way. And that's really important. I think that's where the world comes. Now, going back to that culture comes to that point, and it comes from Satya Nadella. Now, why is Microsoft in that space? And that is down basically because of the Microsoft mission. Our mission at Microsoft is to empower every person in every organization on the planet to achieve more. And I think when it comes to accessibility, disability, special educational needs, differences, equality, diversity, empower every person to achieve more. We are all in this profession to do that. That is so empowering. And I think that when you have a CEO that is passionate about accessibility, when he tweets that Microsoft will be focusing on design and building products that customers love, that are accessible for everyone and built in for each of us. Satya has a son with cerebral palsy. He has a daughter with cognitive difficulties. He understands disability. He understands the D&I lifestyle, understands how we can change people's lives. In his book, Hit Refresh, if you look at that, Hit Refresh, he talks about Zane and how he was watching in the hospital and seeing how many devices use Microsoft. I'm smiling because I'm not used to seeing all the emojis appear, so I do really like it. Thank you very much. It is so empowering to me as a dyslexic. Microsoft is an amazing company in one sense, but when we look at disability and we look at accessibility, there is 1 billion people in the world with a disability. 1 billion, and probably more now. 83% of us will get a disability at working age. What does that mean? That means like a broken arm, a broken leg. It could be something that is long-term or short-term. 70% of disability is invisible or hidden. 70%. 13 million people in the UK have some form of disability, and 6.4 to 6.7 million people in the UK alone have dyslexia. About 17 million people in the world have a dyslexic tendency. We know in the UK that 50% of our prison population have a literacy difficulty. We know that 40% of our entrepreneurs have a dyslexia tendency. We are seeing the benefit of technology and the benefit of inclusion and disability in our workforce. We are changing the way we think because that is empowering us to go forward. We need to be doing that in our schools. We know as professionals that we have a 19th century schooling system for a 21st century intake, and we are doing our amazing best to change that and to move it forward. We are doing twice as much now due to the situation we are in. Hybrid learning, using technology is just empowering. We just need to keep moving forward. And I want to show you some amazing tools that are there to support you. We had to add a bit more to that mission statement when it comes to accessibility. At Microsoft, our mission is to empower every person in every organization on the planet to achieve more. With more than 1 billion people in the world with a disability, there are no limits to what people can achieve when technology reflects the diversity of the way they use it, or who they use it, or how they use it. And yes, I probably have read that wrong. If I was standing in your classroom delivering this training to you as teachers, or you as specialists, or you as even parents, I'd be waving my mobile phone at you. Probably about 9 months ago, you would never have actually probably thought about using a mobile phone in education. The pandemic has really kind of shown that mobile technology is really important and really empowering. And I think that is empowering and supportive for our learners. I would say personally, and this is my personal preference, not of Microsoft, that if I was told I could not use my mobile phone, I would actually say to you that is failing to make a reasonable adjustment under the Equality Act. Because my mobile phone allows me to go into a room, take a photograph, and it reads out the content to me. It allows me to listen to my emails. It allows me to communicate with people either through social media, which is probably not the best thing, but it allows me to communicate with my employees. Employees. It allows me to communicate with you, my customers. It's an empowering device. Yes, it is a tool and a consumption device, but actually for me, the accessibility is quite important and empowering. Microsoft is not just looking at dyslexia or learning, which is what we're going to look at today. We are doing so much. Now, if you want to take anything away from today's webinar, take away that first web link. It says there aka.ms/accessibilitysway. aka.ms/accessibilitysway. This allows anyone to access that web page and gives you all the information about all the areas of what we're doing to create independent learning. So mental health, neurodiversity, mobility, hearing, visual learning. These are the areas we're looking at. Mental health. We are creating tools in Microsoft Teams to basically put buffers in between back-to-back meetings. We have created analytics for personal analytics for ourselves to understand how much time we are focusing on our work. Neurodiversity. We are hiring as a company people with autism to understand and help us code in a better way. We have created eye gaze technology built into Windows 10 for people with mobility. We're using closed captions and subtitles for people with hearing. We have tools in Windows 10 to support with color blindness. And of course, we have the learning tools and immersive reading to support people with dyslexia. We're doing so much. Now, this is where I want you to look for that question box. And excuse me, there. It's going to be quite hard. So actually, no. If you've got your, I'm going to use a different thing. Right. What I'd like you to do, either your hands up or send me a smiley face on the emoji. So you can do either or. If you know that Microsoft owns Xbox. So the question is, so those that are watching that are not watching the recording, if you know that Microsoft owns Xbox, send me a smiley face or a thumbs up, or press your hand up on, if you haven't got it, press your hand up on the event on the go to webinar control panel. I'm going to put all the hands down. I can see a few hands going up, and I'm looking there. There's a good number of hands going up. Okay, so there's not many of you. So some of you, lots of you doing it. That's brilliant. So we've got a good number of you that know that Microsoft own Xbox. So I'm looking at mobility now. So from that last slide, I'm looking at mobility. I want you to think about gaming. So think about gaming, and what do you need? Thumbs. Doesn't matter what gaming console you use, Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, you need thumbs. Even a mobile phone, you need thumbs. What happens if you have lost your thumb, or you have limited movement in your thumbs? You have no thumbs. How do you game? Well, Microsoft created the world's first accessible game controller, allowing anyone with a physical disability to game. Lightweight joysticks, sensors, and switches. Fully customizable. Now, I'm going to ask you now. I love it. So, okay. So you can do this. Let me have a look here. So if you think this device is more than £100, can you press the last emoji, the confused emoji, if you think it's more than £100? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, right, I'm going to ask you another question, right? If you think it's more than £200, press the clappy hands button. Okay, good. If you think it's more than £500, then press the other button next to it, which is the surprised one. Well, a few of you. Okay, 1 or 2. That's fair enough. It is. So I'm actually going to say if you've got a less, all right, okay, put your hands up if you think it's less than £100. Sorry, press the love heart if you think it's less than £100. That's better because you've got it all right. It's $74.99. I'm loving this. It's a brilliant way of doing it. For those that are watching the recording, this is the feature that I'm going to talk about called PowerPoint Live. I'll explain that as we go on. It is $74.99. The device is fully accessible, but not only that, the box is accessible. The box has been designed for anyone with a physical disability to open the box with their teeth, with a hook, with their little finger, so they can actually get into it. It's an amazing device. It's won so many awards for design. It is a hub. It's a brilliant device. I have got one. It works on Windows 10. It's just a brilliant product, it is. I love it to bits. So just so you know, if people are looking for the emojis, if you go to this web address top, so ppt.ms/rettyuxh, if you go to that web address, you'll find the emoji button that people are pressing. So it's at the top here, very top of the screen, ppt.ms/rettyx. So we're going to look at that inclusive classroom. We're going to understand inclusive classroom. We're going to talk about reading, writing, a little bit about math and about communication. We want to talk about how we can support learners, mainly with dyslexia, but in other ways. And remember, this is designed mainly for teachers. So I'm going to be looking at it from a teacher's point of view. If you're a parent, you can ask the question at the end and I will help you. If you're not a parent and you're just a dyslexic advocate or anyone else within the thing, we can also answer some questions as we go along. But most of the presentation will be for teachers. So we have some tools that we call learning tools. We now call this Immersive Reader. And this has some features called text-to-speech with synchronized highlighting. It has some visual stress aids and grammar options, some real-time translation, picture dictionary, math-to-speech dictation, show formatting, and transcriptions. What is all of this stuff? These are all features that are built into Microsoft 365. Now, just to let you know, I will now be doing a demo. You will not see closed captions on the screen. You will only see closed captions on PowerPoint Live. If you need that, the address is at the top. I'll wait 30 seconds. I'm going to wait 30 seconds just so you know that. So let's go into the demo. So what I've done here is I'm going to bring in a web page, and I am at Microsoft's Office homepage, so office.com. I've gone to portal.office.com or office.com, and this is our Microsoft Office web page. This is free for every school. Office.com is free for every school. Some of you will recognize this screen. This is our online instance. This is the online apps. And the reason I'm using online is because they are totally free for school. And everything from here onwards will be free. So built into Office alone, and this is just so you know, Office has amazing features. It has, from the bottom there, it has Microsoft Forms. Microsoft Forms is exactly what it is. It's a form tool. It's for doing forms. That has accessibility built into it. Microsoft Sway, which is a way of presenting information, has got accessibility into it. Microsoft Teams has got so much accessibility in it. It's a communication tool, your hub for your school, your hub for your remote learning. It's just an amazing process there. SharePoint, which is what everything is built on, has just been awarded the WAG 2.1 standards. That is an amazing feature. That means that SharePoint web pages have an accessibility standard. OneNote, your digital notebook and workbook and exercise book, that scrapbook and journal entry concept there, where you can store your notes and your ideas and run classes through OneNote class notebook. OneDrive, your personal 1 terabyte of storage. Outlook, your email that has accessibility in. The immersive reader, I'm jumping back to OneDrive, is now available in OneNote. Sorry, in OneDrive. Immersive reader is available in OneDrive. I'll talk about that as we go along. PowerPoint, which I'm going to show you later, got loads of accessibility in. And I want to show you Word first. I've got a Word document here. I'm going to open it. I'm opening Word. It's got some amazing features. If you just need basic word processing and you want loads of accessibility features, use Word Online. It's just an amazing tool. I love it to bits. It's so easy to do stuff in. It's a bit of way of thinking about it, but it's really good from a school point of view. You don't need a powerful device. You just need a device connected to the internet, and that's all you need to think about. In schools now, we have to think about our internet connectivity because that is what's going to make and change the way we use technology. So I've got my document here. This document could have been shared to me by my geography teacher, and I've got to listen to it. I've got to read it because I may have to answer some questions. How can I listen to it? Well, of course, I'm going to launch the immersive reader. The immersive reader is in the View tab. This is for looking, this is for seeing, this is for doing something for me as an individual. It's designed for me to manipulate this text for me as an individual. So I'm going to go to immersive reader. So I'm going into immersive reader and it's taking me out of my editing view and put me into my immersive view. And straight away it's done some changes. It's made some spacing. Spacing can be good, doesn't help everyone, but it does help some people. I find spacing really helpful personally. Over on the right hand side, we've got these kind of features here. These are our text preferences we can start with. So let's go and start with text preferences. We can change things. So let's change the size. We can make this a bit bigger. Well, that's better. 56, I can see that. I can turn the spacing on and off. No, I like the spacing on. Couple of fonts to choose from. I'm going to use Comic Sans. I like Comic Sans. It's got some amazing features. It's got the A's and the G's, the proper things in. It's an amazing feature it is for our learners. So I think it's just a brilliant font to use. We have some background colors. I'm not going to get into the debate about using colors. It works for some people. We are an American company. We're using Erling colors. We can change the background. And can I keep the blue background on? It helps some people. We have the show formatting thing. It's quite interesting as well that some people find bold, italic text and underlined text hard to read. We can turn that on and off. It's going to help some people. But we can do so much more. We can go into the grammar options and syllabarize the text. Physical, geography, landforms, mountains, valleys, glaciers, rivers. We can break up words into syllables. That is powerful for some learners. We can pick up our nouns, our verbs, our adjectives, and our adverbs. I don't like this colour. I'm going to change that to green. We can now see all of them in different colours. Yes, people may be colourblind, so we can put labels on it. And I think just by doing that, I now know that physical is an adjective. Verbs. Called is a verb. Noun. Study, earth, landforms, geography, landforms, mountains, valleys. They're all nouns. That is useful for some people. I have no idea what verbs, adjectives, and adverbs are. I know they're in that document because I can see them. And that is powerful for our learners. We can also focus in online. We can remove some distractions and actually go up and down as we read it. And I've got an amazing video I saw the other day of a boy using this in a product called Office Lens, and he was using this feature. He wasn't pressing the play button, which I am going to press in a second to do this, and he was just focusing on using it to its full advantage. But let's talk about the play button. We have this play button here, and I'm going to press the play button, and I'm hoping you'll be able to hear this. It's not going to be easy for you to hear it. I'm just going to press the play button, and that's it. So I can definitely hear it. I'm just going to make sure it's at the volume there. So I'm going to play it. I'm going to take my headset off so you can hear it and play it, so you should be able to hear the voice.
The study of Earth's landforms is called physical geography. Landforms can be mountains and valleys. They can also be glacier or rivers. Landforms are sometimes called physical features.
So I know it was working because I could see on my other screen that the captions were picking it up. Hopefully you heard that and heard the quality of the voice. Now, remembering that I am having to take it from a speaker to a microphone rather than doing it through an audio input. So there may be a little bit of difference. But that voice does not sound like a computer. That's a neuro voice. That's a natural speaking voice. We also have a female voice. Let's have a listen to this one.
The study of Earth's landforms is called physical geography. Landforms can be mountains and valleys. They can also be glacier or rivers.
I think that is such an amazing sounding voice. I love that female voice. I want to point out a thing. 2016, they were computerized voices. They were really computerized voices. The study of Earth's landforms. That's what it was sounding like. That kind of real computerized voice. We have come so much far when it comes into real-time voices. These ways that we synthesize voice is completely different. That male voice appeared 2 weeks ago. We still had a computerized voice in the UK. 2 weeks ago, in the middle of a training, we have a new male voice. Didn't know it was coming. It was amazing. I was like the people on the video that were watching me at that time were like smiling. I didn't understand why I had the biggest grin on my face. I was using Teams to do the video. They didn't understand why I was so excited, because to me, these are the changes that I love. The ones I don't know about, the ones that just happen, because that's beneficial. One other point. Synchronization. You saw it. You saw the synchronization as it was reading. The think about when you use your fingers in primary, that is empowering. That means that we are using our ears, our eyes. We're moving with our eyes. So we're using some kinesthetic there, helping us to learn to read. It's a very powerful tool, that is. I think it's brilliant. But of course, we can change it. If that speed is too fast, we can slow it down. Or, as I say, we can speed it up. Or we can slow it down.
Valleys. They can also be glacier or rivers.
So you can see there that the speed is important as well. So we've looked at changing the font so it works for me, the background color, the size. I've been able to pick out my nouns, my verbs, my adjectives. I've been able to change the syllables, been able to look at how I can focus in on it and how I can listen to it. I can do one other thing with this. I can translate it. Our EAL students, I can change it to, let's pick out, I know, this one. I have no idea what the word is. I can't read it. That's a language. Someone will read it and tell me. I actually can't read the language. Let's pick one that I can read. So let's find Polish. There you go. Polish. Read it. There you go. Translated to Polish. I can also read aloud in Polish.
Badanie form lądowych Ziemi nazywa się geografią fizyczną. Landforms mogą być góry i doliny. Mogą to być również lodowce lub rzeki. Formy lądowe są czasami...
That is just so amazing that we can do that. My favorite language is actually this. This is Arabic. Now, I'm going to explain to you why is Arabic my favorite language. Watch what happens when I turn the whole document into Arabic. Look at how it's laid out. Look at the play button. And then it's not worrying about the language. Watch the synchronization.
وتسمى دراسة أشكال الأرض الجغرافية الفيزيائية. يمكن أن تكون أشكال الأرض الجبال والوديان.
The synchronization is going the opposite way. So it already knows that. That is, to me, empowering. This feature is not only in Word. That browser here, this is the Edge browser. I'm going to just make a new tab. This is the Edge browser. You can go to any news article I like. So we can click on any news article. Let's click on this one. It's the first one that came to mind. I know it's a bit political, but I can now press the right mouse button on any web page using Microsoft Edge And there's a read aloud button.
Joe Biden announces who will be in his White House team.
You can see there that he's writing out who he's appointing as his staff. I'm quite looking forward. I will listen to that one later because I'm interested in it. But I could also press at the top here where the little star is, the immersive reader button. I can now turn that web page into immersive reader. Not only have I now just removed all the distractions off that web page, I can now listen to that web page with my text preferences, with my kind of chosen language, with my kind of background color that I want to use, that I find useful for me. I can change the speed of the sound. I can change how I want to. And it's so powerful for my learners. And that's built in Microsoft Edge. I'll show you that on the slide. Actually, I'm just going to go to the other presentation. 1 second. So if you look on the screen now, that's the Edge logo. Microsoft Edge, I recommend it. Microsoft Edge Chromium is the version there. Just going to go back to my demo now. So we talked a lot about reading. That's all about reading. That's immersive reader. What about writing and spelling? Writing is so cool. I love how do we do writing. So of course we have the dictation button. Here's dictation here. The online version is so empowering because it does this. It brings up this amazing box and allows me to dictate, full stop, new paragraph, bold. I can say some words that allow me to change and edit the text. Text. Delete text. I can also say some commands that allow me to delete stuff and add stuff in. Exclamation mark. New paragraph. Bold. Hopefully now the document will not be bold. Full stop. I can use this for single words. Constantinople. That's useful. It didn't do what I was expecting it to do. You can see there that I've done some changes. You can see that I've actually been able to manipulate it. It's not as good as it could be, but you have seen something and it has worked to a point. I have a settings button that can speak it. It's not on UK English, it's on US English. That might help a little bit. I can also turn on off voice commands and also put auto punctuation. So I can have it put in full stops at the end. If you look at the captions that are appearing on either on your phone or on the screen, you will see that we have got auto punctuation built into that. But if I click on the little help icon, this is where I can see all of my help functions. I can see where all my punctuation I need to say, all my editing commands, all my formatting commands, all my creating list commands. I haven't ever tried this. Start list. Arran, new line. Lucy, new line. New line. Delete, do lie. That was quite cool. I've never done that before. These are things that I keep trying every time I do these presentations. You've got to try and do things. You've got wild dictations. Show help, pause dictation, exit dictation. You can press Alt and the Alt and the @ sign will actually open up that. That's quite cool, that is. That's really quite useful for our learners and how powerful that is. That's dictation. There's a new feature. Dictation, let me just point out, going back, dictation when it first came out, I didn't use it. It did that auto punctuation all the while, which was really hard. Now you can turn it on and off, which is so powerful. Transcription. This is a brand new feature. I'm going to upload a file. I'm going to upload a file because I want to use an uploaded file and because I want to show you how good it is. I'm going to upload a recording of me and my daughter. This is two people talking, and this is the power of transcription. This is a brand new feature. It literally transcribes what you say. Very similar to dictation, but it works in a different way. I'll explain in a second. So I've got lots of questions. What I'm going to do is in a second, I'm going to come to some of them when I get to a certain point. Just wait for this to go. I'm just looking at the questions because so what it's done now is it's pulled down the audio. Now I'm going to play the audio to you so you can hear it. Hello, what's your name?
Amelia.
And what did you do at school today?
I learned about Christopher Columbus.
And what did Christopher Columbus do?
He sailed all around the world and thought that he went to Chinese, but he went the wrong way.
Okay. Thank you very much, Amelia.
Bye.
So you can see there that my daughter and me have very different voices. And you can see there that it has speaker 1 and speaker 2. So I know speaker 1 is Arran. Can't spell my own name. Change speaker 1. And I know speaker 2. Oh, sorry, I've done something I didn't want to do there. I know that speaker 2 is Amelia. Amelia. So that's now changed all that. As you can see, I pressed the plus button and it added that into my document. I could press the plus button on the ones I wanted. I can also press add to document and I can now add just the text. I can add with speakers, I can add with timestamps. I could also add it all. So if I did that, it tells me what time and the transcription of what they did. It also puts a link for the file in. That is so amazing and cool for our learners. I think that is a brilliant feature for them. And it's so empowering for our learners to actually use. One last feature, and then I'm going to go on. Editor is an amazing tool. Editor is your more advanced spell check. It allows you not only to just look at spellings, but grammar, acronyms, clarity, consistency, formatting, inclusivity, punctuation, sensitive, vocabulary. It is so empowering to our learners. It's in preview, so it doesn't always work on this document, but I would definitely take and have a look at them 3 things. Dictation, or the 4 things. Immersive Reader in the View tab, Immersive Reader. Home tab, Dictation. Home tab, Dictation drop-down, Transcription, and Editor. An amazing few features for those learners, which are all free at office.com for every school. It's an amazing kind of concept. So I've just seen a question there. Okay, how do I get my English accent on mine? It's set to US. Right, I'm going to answer that question because that question is a common one. Anyone within your organization, if you're in a school and you've got you haven't got an English accent, make sure on your web browser that you go into your settings and the language you set in your settings, so it's in settings, under languages, it says UK English. UK English is your top language. Spell check is UK English as well. That is how you get it to work. It is in your language settings. That can be set by your administrators in your school. Everything I said is built into many things. As I said to you, Immersive Reader is built into Teams. It's built into Flipgrid. Flipgrid is that flip learn tool, that student voice tool using video, and we have Immersive Reader built into it. That is powerful. We have it built into Minecraft Education. If you have a license, so Minecraft Education is a paid for product, just to be pointed out there. If you have that on your school license, it's amazing. It's there, and you have Immersive Reader freely put into it. And also words like creeper have been put into the picture dictionary. Microsoft Forms, I said to you earlier, is the hidden gem of Microsoft 365. It has them features such as Immersive Reader in there. That means we can do translation to our parents. This feature is only available for education customers. Only education customers have access to that. We put it in Teams assignments. If you're doing remote learning or you're doing hybrid learning and you're sending assignments home, students can now read their assignments of what they need to do using Immersive Reader. That is empowering. If you're using a touch device and you have Microsoft Whiteboard for Education, that now has Immersive Reader into it. I do recommend it. It's, again, an amazing tool. Microsoft has also allowed third-party people, third-party developers to add this feature into their products. You will see this appear in many places. It's not there as many there. It's in some of these places. Most of these places are around. So Bunsey, you may have heard of, University Press. There's loads of others, Wakelet. There's so many places where it is, and there's so much more than just that icon there. The thing about this technology is that this technology is a life-changing experience. We can support learners for free. Yes, it's a way of working that we have to think about. It's how we support learners, and we can use it to support them in many ways. Think outside the box and use it. This slide is going to be hard for you to read, but I'm going to show it to you. This slide here is our periodic table, and it is going to change because there's some extra things on here that I'm going to tell you. So the read aloud function alone, so reading it out loud, is in 5 versions of OneNote, 4 versions of Word, including iPad and Mac for Word for Mac, 2 versions of Outlook, Web and Desktop Outlook, Teams, Flipgrid, Whiteboard, Forms, Minecraft Education, the Office Lens application on your phone, iPhone, Android tablet or iPad, plus the Edge browser spoke about. It is coming, it was announced in October, it is coming to PowerPoint in the web as well. Dictation is already in PowerPoint in the web, as you can see. It's the last but one line. It's in 3 versions of OneNote, 2 versions of Word, Outlook Desktop, and it's coming to Outlook Desktop in the web, PowerPoint Desktop, PowerPoint in the web, and Windows 10. It's coming to Windows 10. If you have got a latest version of Windows 10, you can press the Windows key in H, and it will load up Dictation. It's okay. It needs a bit of work. You can still use it for small words. But if you've got a Windows 10 device and you've got the latest version, so that's build 20H2, you will then have Dictation. It's an amazing feature of what we've done. For me, it's a life-changing experience. I use 75% of the features on a daily basis. I want to talk to you about PowerPoint. I've got about 10 minutes left before I want to finish. So I'm just going to bring back up my demo. And I want to talk about PowerPoint. So I'm going to open PowerPoint up. I'm going to open a brand new PowerPoint. PowerPoint should not take you more than 10 minutes to do a PowerPoint. I'm going to do a very quick PowerPoint, very quick. I'm not going to do the slide. The benefit of PowerPoint is it has so many features for accessibility. We're using 1 or 2 of them. We're using closed captions and we're using PowerPoint Live, which I'll explain what that is in a second in more detail. But here it is, it's opening up. Now, up will open the designer icon. Designer is kind of like the old kind of templates, but it's a lot more intelligent. It's got artificial intelligence behind it. I'm going to turn it off, and I'm not going to do the home slide yet. I'm just going to do the second slide. So I'm going to do my staff meeting using Dictation. Staff meeting agenda. English, new line. Maths, new line. Science, new line. Tea break, new line. Tea break, new line. History. Geography, new line. Music. Geography. Doesn't want to spell geography for me today. Leave it at that. Right. Pretty boring presentation. Taking me about 2 minutes, 2 or 3 minutes. Press the designer. Artificial intelligence, go away. And look what it's done. It's put English books for math, English books for English, calculator for maths. This icon that I can never remember what it's called for maths, for science, a teacup for tea break, and a music note, a treble clef for music. How accessible is that, and how quick was that? Can change people's lives, can change your lives, can make your lives as teachers so much more empowering by adding in less time to do things, and it's accessible. I forgot a feature I did. I didn't talk about Pitch Dictionary, I remember now. It's such a powerful tool, offering pictures. I can also add one more slide in. I'm just going to add another slide in, and I'm just going to say I'm going to check. I'm going to put there. Let's do this. Results. English 10%. Maths 50%. Geography 12%. There you go. Look at that. How empowering is that? I could also put that one in. I prefer that one. I like that one. That is so useful. So clean, so easy, and just does it. Watch this one. I love this one. Arran's Tea Shop. It's got me a cup of tea. It's pulled me down. That's a cup of coffee, but hey ho. It's pulled me down a cup. How empowering is that? In the slideshow icon, we have subtitles. We can run subtitles online and on desktop. What is PowerPoint Live? What are you using? You can see it. You're using it now as I'm talking. You can send me emojis. You can change your language. It's individual, personalized, closed caption subtitles for you. You can also rehearse with Coach, which is basically a tool for helping people deliver better presentations. Rehearse with Coach gives you a result of information about what you've done, how fast you spoke, if you said things wrong, if you've said something like "you guys," then it could be classed as being offensive. So you say "you people," or you don't say "guys." If I said the word basically a lot, I do go a lot, that would come up. It would come up with words like that. It will also look for if I'm speaking too fast or too slowly, or I am speaking in the sense that I'm speaking like too high or too softly. It's so empowering. The closed captions concept around live streaming allows you to have customized captions for that person. You can also go back and forward. Don't forget, if you missed a slide and you want to go back to that slide, I'll just show you here on this one. I've got it open on here. I can go back. Let's go back to a few slides. I can go back to that slide. Now, I can go back to that slide and I can be reading that slide. I'm going to go back. I'm going to go forward a slide. So you can see I've gone forward a slide. You can see I've got stars on my screen. I can now just press that button there, current slide, and it's going to jump back to the screen that I'm on. That's empowering for our learners. You also get feedback from your audience. The thing about this is you've got design ideas, right? You've got there present to coach. You've got closed captions and live transcriptions. That is empowering for our learners. We are having live captions coming to OneNote in the future. That is coming soon, that is. And if you've got an iOS device, I do recommend checking out Seeing AI. It's an amazing tool. I can't really demo it on here. It's not very easy to demo on a webinar. Right then, your takeaways for today. All of you want to know more about Microsoft and how we develop and how we support learners. I think there's been some chats in some questions of how we can do it. I would love everyone. I'm going to email this to everyone that has listened to it, everyone that has missed it. Go to education.microsoft.com. Register using your Microsoft account or your Office 365 account and use that redemption code TSFF57320. That is an amazing redemption code, so you can get 200, 500 points towards your MIE status. It's half your MIE status. Learn about what Microsoft is doing, how you can use Microsoft 365 in education, how you can do distance learning, how you can do remote learning, how you can support people with additional needs. There's so many features on there. You will get an email from me as well tomorrow with a link for extra learning, for past learning, for more learning. Loads of links to go to tools on there. If you want free dyslexia awareness training as well, there is this amazing course Made by Dyslexia, which is free and available to you, helping you train your staff in awareness of dyslexia as well for free. That is so empowering. For me, this is a life-changing experience. This is empowering to our learners. It's encouraging our learners because everything I've talked about today is built into Microsoft 365. It's mainstream. It's non-stigmatizing. Of course, it's free. We want to empower every learner by creating that foundation of success. We want to grow our students' potential. We want to empower your teachers. I keep saying the word empowering too much. We want to build inclusive environments. I wrote this last year. It says here, putting technology at the heart of learning with accessibility tools built in for everyone creates independent learners and ensures all students achieve their full potential. I still believe that. I think that is what I think is amazing. I want to thank you for listening to my webinar today. I would love you to put questions in the question box. If you want to reach out to me, by all means you can do. I'm not going to record the questions. I'm not. I'm going to read the questions out as I would do as an SEND group webinar. Before you go on the recording though, there is 2 links. If you want me to come to your school, go to aka.ms/ArranDyslexia, find out what I do. That's aka.ms/ArranDyslexia. If you want to have a conversation with me, go to aka.ms/bookArranDyslexia. That will send you to my booking page. It will give you what availability I have in my diary. Follow me on Twitter at ArranDyslexia. There is your code for listening. I want to thank you for listening to the recording. I want to thank you for entering in on things. I'm going to go through the questions off the recording, and then the recording's going to finish now. Thank you everyone for listening.